Hey everyone, what's up? This is Ravi and today we are going to learn about how to connect Firestore database with our actions on Google application. Basically, this image explains everything about the video. Let's understand it first. When user speaks or enter any input, it will be passed to Dialogflow, and from there we will implement fulfillment, which is nothing but API hosted over cloud. Cloud API will communicate with Firestore and perform the operation. Once operation is performed, Dialogflow will receive data from Cloud API and response will be sent back to user. In order to understand this clearly, we will create one demo application which will basically store user email in Firestore database. We will also see how to fetch those data and how to delete it. Now, without wasting any time, let's do some coding. So I already created some basic intent. So here you can see there is one agent called Firestore database, and I have two default intents, which is fallback and welcome intent. I have implemented basic fulfillment also. If you are not aware about this, you can go back to my previous video and learn about how to integrate fulfillment with Dialogflow. So this is basic, and here you can see that whenever user enters in our action, it will be giving an output that how can I help you. I already deployed once over the cloud. So now let's add one more intent, which will basically get an input from user about the email. So I'll name it as add intent. I'll add few training phrases also, like please add ravi@gmail.com. So now I'll mark it as the entity because we need to extract it from the user input, right? So there is already one available entity called sys.email. Okay, so here you can see entity has been added. Let me add few more phrases also. Please add new email address. So I am not giving the email address, so we need to make it compulsory or as a required field. So I'll make a default prompt. What is your email address? Okay, so now I have few more training pages, like please add new user. So whenever Dialogflow will not find any of the email address in user input, it will ask user about the email. Okay, and I'll enable the fulfillment for this intent. So now whenever there is an call to this intent, it will be passed to the webhook call, and webhook call will handle this. Okay, let me save it. Now we will add the code to our fulfillment. Let me add one more variable here. So here it will be our intent name. So it should match exactly with the intent name that we have added. Let me add the method also, which can access it. Okay, it is having the argument conversation, and we will extract the email also from user input. So here I'll just give the response as your email concatenate. I'll concatenate it with email and has been added. Okay, I'll add to the app variable. So this will bind our intent with the method. So this is the intent name and method is add intent. Okay, looks good. Okay, we will deploy it. Okay, so it is deployed and let's test it.
Here's the test version of Firestore database.
How can I help you?
Please add ravi@gmail.com.
Your email ravi@gmail.com has been added.
So here it is just a static response that we have given to our intent. Now let's create first a Firestore database or Firebase. So we'll open console.firebase.google.com. So here you can see the project will be created whenever we will create our agent. So from the database, we'll create database cloud Firestore. We'll keep it is in a test mode as of now. Okay, done. So here you can see that our Firestore database has been created. So we'll create one collection here saying user data. It will ask for the default data or the first entry you can say. So document ID I will make it as a auto ID. We'll save it. So now we have a user data document over here. So we'll add our user email in the user data document. So move back to Dialogflow. So in order to communicate with Firestore database, we'll need a Firebase admin library. So you will find it in packet.json Firebase admin. If it is not available, you can add it here. Okay, so let me just import it first. Const admin is equal to require Firebase admin. Okay, now we have the Firebase admin reference in admin variable. So I'll initialize it. We need to initialize it in order to access it. Okay, so admin.initialize app, it will initialize the application and now we'll be able to access our Firestore database. So we'll create a variable of our database. So for future use we can have our database variable. We can get the database reference from admin.firestore. So it will create a reference to our Firestore database. Okay. Now in our add intent we have our email. So in order to add the data to a database, we'll first get the reference of our collection. So our collection name here is user data. So here we have the location till user data. So we need to add our email address inside our user data, right? So here we'll pass the method as add, and inside it I can give as many fields as I want in my Firestore database. So I'll simply add email here. Okay, and then I'll give a confirmation to user that your email has been added. Now we'll deploy it. So it has been deployed to Cloud Function. Now let's try it. I'll give command as please add ravi@gmail.com.
Your email ravi@gmail.com has been added.
So here you can see that it is giving us the success response. Now let's check it with our Firestore database whether we do have data over there or not. Yeah, so here you can see there is one record and email is saying as ravi@gmail.com. Let me add one more. Please add john@gmail.com.
Your email john@gmail.com has been added.
Okay, so here we have one more record saying john@gmail.com. So it looks easy, right? Yeah. Okay, so now we will fetch this data and we'll display it, or you can say we'll ask for the user data to our action. Let me create a new intent called display intent. So I'll add running phrase here, show me all data. Okay, I'll make it simple as of now, just for your understanding, and will enable the fulfillment. We'll save it. We'll move back to fulfillment and we'll add the functionality to fetch the Firestore data. Okay, so we have added new intent, so we'll add the variable here, display intent, and the name that we have used while creating the intent. Okay, display intent. Okay, now I'll code now I'll add the function to the display intent is equal to conversation function. Okay, so now in order to get the data from the Firestore, we need to get the reference of our collection. So we get it by database.collection, and our collection name is user data, and it is having one method called get. So it will return the promise. So I will catch it in then. So if it is success, it will be called then, and then we'll be having the snapshot. Okay, and closing bracket. I'll see if there is any error or not. So if there is any error, I'll simply say user there is some error while fetching data. Please try again later. Okay. So here we will get the snapshot. So we will fetch the data from the snapshot. So we'll have the for each. We'll give it name as the dog and closing bracket. Okay. So this will give us the email address. So we'll catch it with one variable. So doc.data, and so doc.data will move user to here. Okay, and from there we will need an email address. So we'll use .email. So now we'll have the email address in the email object. Okay, let me create an array so that we can combine all those data. We'll make it as empty and data array dot push email. So it will push all those emails in an data array. Okay, so once we have all the data, I'll simply give in response to user data inside Firestore is I'll use data array string. Okay, so now here, as I have mentioned, that dot get will return us the promise. So now whenever we want to call some async operation from our actions on Google, we need to return this promise. So it will, so our actions on Google will know that there is some synchronous process going on. Otherwise it will give you an error that there is no response or and something like that. Okay, so what we did is we have created a function for the display intent. We have created an reference to the user data, and using the get method we'll get the data. So data will be given in a snapshot. So we have created a snapshot for each loop, and there we have extracted it in the email object. We have pushed that to data array and combined it with our output. Okay, now let me bind it with our app. Display intent and display intent. Okay, let me first check the name whether it is correct. Okay, it looks good. Okay, we will deploy it. Okay, so it is saying that cloud function is deployed. Okay, let me reset it so it will make it more clear.
Getting the test version of Firestore database.
How can I help you?
So me all data.
Data inside Firestore is john@gmail.com, ravi@gmail.com.
Okay, so here you can see the data that we have added in Firestore is displayed over here. Okay, so now we'll delete one of the data from this depending on the user input. Okay, so I'll add one more intent here for deleting the data. We'll name it as delete intent. So delete, and will be email address. So we need to extract it from user input like we were doing it while adding. So let's make it as an entity, delete record, delete data. Okay, we'll make it as the required field as we did it for add intent. What is email address? Okay, we'll enable the fulfillment. So delete intent is the name. So inside the fulfillment we'll add one more intent, which is delete intent. Okay, so I'll create a function for delete intent. Design the conversation. Okay, let's extract email also from it. Okay, so in order to delete the data from the Firestore database, we'll need a key which is associated with the data. So here you can see there is one key XA and something, then here YL. So in order to delete the data, say by saying john@gmail.com, I'll need the reference of XAUB, this kind of key. So we'll fire an where query. Okay, so we'll first get the reference of our database, user data, and where email, which is our key that we have used in our Firestore. email, second argument will be equal, third argument will be our email address that user has given. Okay, and it will have the get method which is same like we did it for display. So we'll get the response in then as a snapshot. Will catch the error. So that's the same code. So let me just copy it. There's some error while deleting data. Okay, so we have our snapshot here. Okay, so from the snapshot we'll have our for each loop, right? So snapshot dot for each. And from the dog we can get it as the dog dot id. So dog dot data that here we have used will give us the actual data of that record, and dog dot id will give us the id. So we'll store it in some variable so that we can use it to delete the exact data, right? So now we have the document id, and now we'll check if we have the document id inside the loop, we will delete the data. Okay, so let me create a variable database dot collection of user data dot doc, which is our document id dot delete. Okay, so again it will return as the promise delete data, so we'll have to use the then. Okay, we'll say it as the result. Okay, so if we have the result, we will give an user output that data has been deleted from the Firestore. Okay, but now suppose if it is not able to find the ID. Okay, so we'll make it as the else conversation dot ask user is not available, right? Okay, so as it is the async call, we need to return it from here, and same for the get also. Let me add it to the app object delete intent here delete intent. Okay, so let's see that what we have done. So we have created a function which will catch the delete intent user input. It will extract the email from the user input, and from user data collection we are checking whether we do have any record matching the user inputted email. Okay, so we have created the for each loop and stored the document ID. Now in case of multiple records of the same email, right, document ID will be having the last reference of the ID, right, last record reference, so it will delete the last record. Okay, so it seems cool. Let me deploy it. So it is deployed now. Okay, so we have two data, John at gmail.com and Ravi at gmail.com. So I'll delete John at the rate gmail.com.
Data has been deleted from the Firestore.
Okay, so it is giving us the success response. Let's check whether it has been deleted. Yeah, it is deleted, and let's check with data that we are receiving in our action also.
Data inside Firestore is Ravi at gmail.com.
So here you can see that now we have only one record, that is Ravi at the rate gmail.com. So let's try with the email which is not available, right? abcd at gmail.com.
User is not available.
Okay, so that's it for this tutorial, guys. Let me know if you are creating something interesting with the Firestore database. Share your actions in the comment section. Do like, share and subscribe to my channel. Thank you.